That's right. It's become kind of our tradition here on this show. Now, normally we do it before the year wraps up, but we had some other fun topics we wanted to get to. But hey, we just reached the new year. It's still early enough that we can get to it because there is a lot to come in 2026 for Disney. So much so that we're not going to get to everything, but we are going to get to some of the things we're most excited for, right, Michelle?
Right. I know that there's a lot of festivals and special ticketed events and, things like that, but really focusing on in the parks, like attractions, maybe some shows, special shows, but yeah, like you said, not everything and not every park either.
Yeah, and we won't get to even all the stuff in the parks that are coming. I mean, you may have forgotten all the stuff that's happening in 2026. And yes, there are some bigger things coming in the future years, but there's still some fantastic stuff coming to the Disney parks, to the big screen in 2026. And we're going to get to a lot of that today. And Michelle has put together an amazing list, as you know she would. And so we're going to go through a lot of this today. So Michelle, why don't you take it away as we do a magical look at what's to come for Disney in 2026?
All right. Well, figured starting at the OG park at Disneyland in California. Some amazing things coming. I mean, obviously, they're still celebrating their 70th anniversary. But aside from that, for example, over at Fantasyland Theater, that's going to be transformed into Bluey's School.
Yes.
And where guests can see the show Bluey's Best Day Ever. And, I think that's something that's going to be really fun for all families because Bluey is just, such a great star. But it will be fun to have that kind of experience there starting in March 22nd. And, to kind of go along with that fun, actually Troubadour Tavern's going to have some themed foods that will be in part of that celebration inspired by that series.
The biggest stars in the world coming to Disneyland Park in March, and that's very, very exciting. And unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit after we're going to be there, but very, very excited for everybody who's going to get to experience Bluey and Bingo and the gang.
Yeah. And that's a nice big theater. So I think it's going to be great that people will be able to, actually kind of maybe even get up and dance along with the party.
Well, I think dance parties are mentioned in everything that Bluey is involved with that they're doing in the parks and on Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah. So, and I love the theming of being at Bluey's School. So
yeah.
That's cool. Another big thing happening out there is in Batu. Over in Galaxy's Edge, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run attraction is going to have a new theme, which is going to be going around with the Mandalorian and Grogu. And that happens on May 22nd, which is really exciting because that's the same day as the release of the new movie about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit once we get into the movies. But yeah, I mean, that's fun and also cool that we're going to get a new storyline for Smuggler's Run. So for those of you who maybe have done it and had enough of getting the coaxium.
Right.
I don't know what the storyline. Maybe it's more coaxium. I don't know. But maybe, if that's kind of played out for you, there's going to be something new to experience, including you engineers who are going to get the chance to apparently take care of Grogu and make sure his needs are worked on. So that's kind of cool too, because the engineer position has always been kind of that, oh yeah, I'm engineer. Okay. Whatever.
Right. Exactly.
It's nice that they've given you a little bit more responsibility there.
Right. I think that it was good that the Imagineers, put more into that, like you said, because it is one of those that once you got into that position, you might feel like, oh, there's really not as much to do. And
right.
But,
exactly.
So that's cool. That same experience change is going to happen over at Disney Hollywood Studios as well on the same day. So I'll just put that out there right now too. Another change that's going to happen at both parks is the change to soaring, which is going to be soaring across America. And that's part of the new 250th anniversary celebration of the country. And over at California Adventure Park, that's going to be changing on July 2nd, part of the 4th of July celebrations. But over at Epcot, it's actually going to be updated on Memorial Day. So
nice.
A little bit sooner.
That's very exciting. I'm excited for what that will be when it comes. And I still will say it again, the Imagineers, I want to, once, yes, I want everybody to be able to experience this new version of it. But once you get to a point, let's kind of make it like Star Tours, where you go in there and you don't know what you're going to get. Are you going to get soaring over California? Are you going to get soaring around the world? Are you going to get soaring across America? Throw in whatever other areas you want. I would love to see that.
That would be amazing.
Again, I know I'm giving I don't even know if it's feasible, if it can be done, but if it can, that would be amazing. Not that Soarin's not fantastic, no matter what version of it you
get. Right. Yeah. Agreed. So, but looking forward to seeing a change. And I think it's going to be fun, getting to explore the entire country because there are so many amazing sites. So that's great. Sticking with that theme of the Independence Day and 250th anniversary, they're going to be bringing back a beloved fireworks display again at both parks, at both Magic Kingdom in Florida as well as Disneyland, and that is going to be Disney Celebrates America, a 4th of July concert in the sky.
Nice.
What's really cool about this, it's actually going to take place on July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So that's a Friday through Sunday. So that's fun that it's going to be all throughout the whole weekend.
Yeah, you'll get plenty of opportunities to check out that throwback celebration of America.
Yeah. I love the patriotic music that goes along with it. It's just very, heartwarming. Okay, let's head east over to Walt Disney World now. One of the big things happening over there in Magic Kingdom is actually with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And, I know we've been all excited about the changes, and that's going to be reopening in the spring. It's going to have some, as they say, new magic, including a mountaintop cavern deep refurbishment. It's going to have natural caverns full of, I'm going to try to read this and not make mistakes, phosphorescent pools and shimmering and illuminating iridescent stalagmites, which are the ones on the floor, and stalactites, the ones on the ceiling. But it sounds like it's going to be a blast.
Right. You're pretty close there. You're pretty close there. You did pretty well. A little bit of a stumble, but still pretty good. I'm gonna give you a solid B+ on that one.
Thanks.
I'm excited for Big Thunder's. We don't do a lot of thrill rides anymore. Big Thunder is one of those that we do ride on regularly, and I'm excited that that's going to be returning. New track, new magic. It's been closed for over a year now, so I know everybody is itching to have that opportunity to get back on that attraction for sure.
Yeah. So they've redone the whole track system, so I just think it's going to be an amazing experience.
Looking forward to that one.
Also looking forward to changes in Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. That's going to be updated to have like the new ride vehicles. There's going to be video monitors that will give you that real-time scoring updates. The blasters you can actually hold in your hand,
like they have over at Disneyland at the Astro Blasters over there. They've had it at Disneyland that way for a long time, and people have been like, oh, I wish we could do that, rather than it being actually attached to the car at Space Ranger Spin. Well, now they're going to make that change, which is good.
So that's going to be a fun change to coming there. Moving over to Epcot, there's going to be some updates very soon that you'll be able to experience over at Frozen Ever After. So they're going to be updating the audio animatronics there. I know we've talked about it in the past, and it's going to be kind of like the ones that they have over in Hong Kong Disneyland. So mainly like the faces and things like that. Yeah,
they're getting away from the projection faces, which is what many people's complaints are about the attraction more than anything else. And that's good. And we've seen some of these, some videos of these animatronics. And then they're going to be going over, I'm sure you'll be touching on Disneyland Paris, but at Disneyland Paris as well, they're going to be going there too. So great to see that they're giving that love to Frozen Ever After at Epcot as well.
Now, Disney themselves say this is going to be a change available in February. They didn't give an exact date. If you look at the Disney World website, the attraction will be closed starting on January 26th. I didn't see a reopen time in their thing, but that's maybe because they haven't set the date yet. But
they may not know too. They may want to leave it open-ended, because it's nice to say, oh, we'll be able to put these things in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, but maybe it takes 3.5, 4 weeks. So until they get to probably a point, they may not give you an exact date. But
Right.
who
That's true.
knows? Who
That's true.
knows?
Yeah. They don't want to overpromise and underdeliver for
Right.
sure. So I already mentioned about Soaring Across America. That's going to debut on Memorial Day there. So let's go to Hollywood Studios. Again, Millennium Falcon, May 22nd has the update. But also in the summertime is going to be the change to the Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. And I know we've talked about that a lot already, so I won't go in a lot of details about that. But you can actually still ride the current version through until spring this year. So that's kind of fun that it's going to be sound like a fairly quick turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, if you love the classic version, I mean, I know they're starting work on it. They've shut down some things like, you're not going to see Aerosmith in the studio anymore because that's one of the main portions they're working on already. But yeah, it's not going to be closed for that long. And man, the Muppets couldn't be more thrilled for more Muppets. We need more Muppets everywhere. Muppet Show's returning, by the way, and it's not part of our list of things, but Muppet Show's returning here in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. More Muppets, please, especially since you took Muppets away from us. We need more Muppets, and this is a start. Looking forward to what else is to come. Hopefully a lot more in the future. But yeah, that'll get us on Rock and Roller Coaster again. It's been a while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we may have mentioned this before. The people who really have the nostalgia for the Muppets are, more interested nowadays into things like roller coaster versus maybe just the kiddie rides or kiddie shows. So it makes sense that they're doing.
I like a good balance. I mean, I want to see some sort of show, whether it be Muppet Vision 3D coming back or something similar to it. And also something that can be more of a thrill ride as well. Hey, they can be a ton of things that they could do that I would love to see. But like I said, anything more Muppet, I am 100% on board for. So that's at least a start. That's a start.
That is true. All right. Now, one of the most exciting changes happening over at Disney Hollywood Studios, at least in our opinion, is what's going to become the magic of Disney animation, which is where they're actually trying to recreate the Walt Disney Animation Studios in terms of things that you can see with what it's like to put together an animated film and what are some of the historical parts of how it came to be. And it just sounds super exciting of all the things that they're going to be offering there.
I love that this is a throwback to what the studios used to be and that the animation courtyard used to kind of be all about. And it's kind of that infotainment, where you're finding interesting stuff to do, to experience, but you're also learning a little bit about the process of animation, of course. And part of this is put together by, our beloved Dan Abraham and Trent Corey, who are behind Once Upon a Studio. And the fact that they're involved in this as well, along with the Imagineers, I can't be more thrilled for what's going to come to the animation courtyard, especially because it's been, I mean, come on, the launch bay, it was kind of cool when it first opened up, but it was more just a place to get some air conditioning, for a while now. Just maybe you get a good photo. There's some good photo opportunities there, but it really wasn't anything. But now you're going to kind of make that whole area all about animation, and that's very exciting. And I'm thrilled for it to be kind of one more modern, but also a throwback to the past of Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Right. So, for example, they'll have an area that's called Off the Page, and it's going to really feature the 6 departments from the animation studio. So that's story, layout, hand-drawn animation, computer animation, lighting, and effects. And I love how they're taking that and incorporating it with characters and things like that. So, for example, in the story department, they're going to have where you can meet Mulan, and you're going to be posing in front of an oversized storyboard panel. So, you really get the character experience, but you also get to see what does the storyboard look like. Some people may not even realize that is how they actually develop what the story flow is going to be. Then in like the layout department, they're going to have Rapunzel there, and you can see her in a setting that's inspired by the multiplane character, Camera. camera. So they said, like, if you align your photo just right, you'll see layers of backgrounds and painted cells coming to life like magic.
Yeah, I love that because you're combining something we all love to do, which is get photos with the characters, and then you're learning something about it too, and having these fascinating pictures that are going to tell you something about the process of what the animators do to develop these movies, these shorts, everything that we love.
Right. When we had the most unique experience in 2024 of actually going over to the animation studios building, one of the things that they shared with us is just the layout of the building. So starting from the top floor is where they do like the actual story coming to life and they lay out, and then as you go down the floors, that's when you get to see like the animation, whether it's hand drawn or computer or both. And then in the lower level is where they have the lighting and other effects. And never realized that whole process of putting together a film that, you take a piece, you're working on it, and now it goes to another department and they're doing some additional things to make it become more alive and closer to what would be the final product.
Yeah, I love that too. And I'm glad you brought that up because I love that the way they laid out the building, that it starts at the top and then it moves down to the bottom, but basically the process of how these films, these shorts, everything is made. And that's incredible thought process behind that. And yeah, it's amazing. It's all amazing. And this may be the thing that I'm most excited about coming in 2026, at least to the theme parks. That's for sure.
Right. They're also going to have Drawn to Wonderland, which is going to be a playground. What's really wonderful, it's going to be inspired by Mary Blair, which we know we love her color schemes and everything, but just from some of the original concept art of Alice in Wonderland. And I think that's going to be stunning to look at, and I think it's going to be a great place for kids to have a little playground there.
Right, more play areas for kids in the parks, so they can have some time to, maybe the adults can sit back and take a moment to relax, and they can run off some of that energy that they get there and have a good time and enjoy and learn a little bit at the same time.
Right. So we don't have an exact date of when this area is going to open. We just know that it's in the summer. It could be late summer, but that's going to be really cool that it is happening this year.
Somewhere between May and October. Usually that's about their summer. I'm guessing it's going to be more August-ish, but we'll see.
Yeah,
either way, it's phenomenal and can't be more thrilled for it.
Yeah, I just think it sounds like such a really exciting location. And like you said, something that it's getting back to, some of the concepts that were originally there at Disney Hollywood Studios. I just think it's great. Yeah. I'm so excited and looking forward to exploring every inch of that area. So.
Yeah, completely. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. Now, as you notice in our, that we don't have a slideshow because a lot of this stuff is that there may be some releases of concept art, but not a lot. And also, we know things change in some of those concept art. So I think with a lot of these, Disney is kind of not sharing a lot of what to expect because they do want to make sure that there isn't any kind of a expectation of, it's going to look like this and now it looks like that.
Yeah. We'll see. There is some stuff out there, but it's coming. Yeah. It's coming as we get closer. I'm sure we'll get more and more as the year progresses.
Right. One more thing that's happening over in the East Coast is over at Animal Kingdom, and again, also in the summer. And this is the East Coast opportunity to meet Bluey and Bingo. So what you'll be able to do is take an excursion over to Conservation Station and get to, have some fun with Bluey and Bingo and some of their favorite games with kind of a animal theme to them. So like you might be able to experience butterfly keepy uppy. So it's just nice that they have that twist to be theming with Animal Kingdom Park. Plus you'll get to experience some animals that are from Bluey's home, which is Australia. So you'll get to experience some of the animals in that area as well that will be featuring Australia.
Yeah, I mean, it was originally when they were talking about bringing Bluey and Bingo to to Walt Disney World. I think the thought process was going to be in Disney's Hollywood Studios, but with the construction going on there, we need to find a better place, or at least a maybe it's a temporary, maybe it's a permanent, I don't know, but another place for them to do this. And this seems like a great area, that is maybe underutilized. I mean, I think that there's some fantastic stuff that goes on there that for those of you who know will go there and experience, a lot of interesting things about animals. Maybe you see, and you still can do this while this is going on there. They have a lot of their hospital areas where animals are getting checkups or actually getting worked on for their health purposes or whatever. And then there's animation where you can learn to draw characters there. At least it was in the past. Now with Bluey coming, I think that's changing, at least temporarily. And then there's the petting zoo there. But, wrapping this all around, again, two of the biggest stars in the world, Bluey and Bingo, and your experience. And also that train ride, which is always fun. It's going to be a much more difficult train to get on board. It used to be you just walked on that train. Now, I think there's going to be a little bit more of a line because that's how big of stars they are. They're going to draw a huge crowd.
Exactly. So that's fun. I think it's really cool.
It's all good. I'm glad. And I think people are going to maybe learn to appreciate that area much more. Because there's more of a reason to draw them over there. It gets kind of hidden by the fact that, yes, there's the train there, but you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know where that leads to. So why am I going to get on this train? And so, while it was great before, this is going to open up the eyes of many more people, I think, to this space.
Exactly. So well said. All right, so let's move a little bit more east, and that's over to Disneyland Paris Park, because there's some really exciting things.
There's some really exciting stuff happening in Disneyland Paris.
And we'll build up to that. But let's start first at the actual Disneyland Park. As you may or may not know, there's two parks over there. They have Disneyland Park, and then they have the Walt Disney Studios Park, which we'll be talking about soon.
It used to be 1.5 parks, sort of. It's not going to be 1.5 parks anymore coming later this year, that's for sure.
So over at Disneyland Park, along the rivers of the far west, is going to be some changes coming to the Thunder Mesa riverboat landing, and that's in Frontierland. That's slated for summer also. They're going to be actually drawing inspiration from original sketches of the legend and Imagineer Mark Davis of bringing some fresh storytelling to life in that area. So they're going to have like new figures, and the Imagineers have included things like buffaloes on the prairie, playful critters. They said like raccoons and a skunk that are going to be
playful critters. Those skunks.
Yeah,
you really want to play with the skunks.
Well, they're going to they'll be on a floating log.
Or the buffaloes.
They're going to be on a floating log, so you won't really be able to play with them. But the iconic river boat Molly Brown that they have over there, that's been refurbished recently, and so that's going to give you a great view of all these changes that they're making in that area, Thunder Mesa Riverboat Landing, and that area. I'm glad to see that they're going to be updating that. I think it was due.
Everything needs a little refresher from time to time, and that was an area that did definitely.
Right. Now, let's move over to their second park, which is the Walt Disney Studios Park. And I'll talk a little bit about what's going to happen early in the year of that. In fact, in February 7th, there's going to bringing back a new show, or a reimagined show of Minnie's Dream Factory. And that is going to where Minnie is the caring director of this location, and she's going to be leading her dream team that includes Chip and Dale as a comedic duo, Donald Duck managing technical details.
Oh boy,
don't see any problems happening there.
No, not at all. Can't be.
And Daisy Duck is on that team, bringing her energy to keep the spirits high. It sounds like it's an amazing new show storyline that they're bringing out there, and I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Let's bringing more Disney classic characters in. I mean, beloved for so many years and so many decades, and it's very, very exciting. That's cool.
Right. Now, this change isn't really necessarily a big change to the actual attraction, but in the spring, they say, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror will have a new covered outdoor waiting area. And they're not just providing more coverage, but they're actually designing more details in that queue that actually starts the storytelling earlier into the
Oh, good.
process. Yeah.
We,
So
we've talked about that before, how the cues start the storytelling process. And if they're
right.
going to do it even earlier, even better.
Exactly. So doing it on the exterior part of it. And they said they really have looked to find props and, some other maybe clues to what's ahead in the story there in that queue. So
fun.
that's fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Now, we've been calling it the Walt Disney Studios Park. However, on March 29th, there is a big change. And the first big change is that they're renaming that park, and it's going to be Disney Adventure World. We've already seen some changes to World Premiere, which is at the entrance part of that area, but there's going to be some more changes deeper on. But what this land or area will include is actually 3 lands: the world of Frozen, the world of Pixar, which is actually already there, and the Marvel's Avenger Campus,
which is already there as well.
And then in the future is going to be a 4th world that is going to be inspired by the Lion King. And I know we've talked about some of the fun, exciting attractions coming to that.
Yeah. And I'm going to stop down here. Like we talked a little bit earlier before we started our main segment about how we got that chance to do Walt's LA tour. And part of it was going to the Imagineering building and getting into those offices. And one of the things we passed by there was a large model of what that land is going to look like. We passed by it quickly. But man, just passing by quickly, I'm like, man, if it looks anything even close to that model, that Lion King land, and this is not 2026, this is coming off in 2027 or 2028. Yeah.
Something like it.
But it's going to be spectacular.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
It looks phenomenal just from that model, what they're planning on doing with that area. But again, that's not 2026. So let's move back to 2026.
Yeah. I mean, in this park, it's not a new park, but the park expansion is more than doubling the size. So they're not just taking some things out and replacing them, they're really expanding them. And it's interesting, if you go right now to the Disneyland Paris website and look at the map of that park, which right now is still called the Walt Disney Studios Park. They do have like a placard saying this is where a new land is going to be, but you can see how much area that they have to expand these things. But let's kind of go with the flow. What they're going to have is Adventure Way, and think of kind of like Main Street USA concept. So it's going to be the main avenue that links World Premiere, which I said is the beginning part, to these other lands, to the other worlds that they're going to have there. And it's going to have, first of all, landscape gardens, and they're very themed gardens. Like they're going to have a Toy Story garden that's going to have Woody and Jessie among the trees, and the trees are going to be trimmed to look like toys and things like that. They're going to have a gazebo with Winnie the Pooh themed and some of the characters around there. So it sounds like it's going to be beautiful walking through there. They're going to have 14 new dining locations there. One of them is called the Regal View Restaurant and Lounge. It's a very elegant setting, which is going to be available for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's going to have the princesses there that you'll be able to meet. But it's also going to have their very first bar located at any of the parks over at Disneyland Paris. Now, that's not to say they haven't had alcohol served in some of their restaurants.
We've had alcohol served in their restaurants.
Yes, but to actually have a lounge, and this lounge looks beautiful and stunning, and it looks like an amazing place to sit. And this restaurant and lounge are actually located on the waterway, so you get to see some nice views there as well. So it just looks like an amazing addition to have that area. They're also going to have an attraction. Rapunzel's Tangled Spin is going to be there, and they said you're going to be whirled around in gondolas beneath a sky illuminated with floating lanterns and accompanied by that iconic song, I See the Light. And what's really cool for this attraction is Mandy Moore, who was the original voice of Rapunzel, actually recorded audio announcements for this attraction.
Yeah, that's great. I have slight concerns with that attraction because I really want to be able to ride it when I get the chance because, hashtag real men love Frozen, but also hashtag real men love Tangled. Like I want it to be like Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, or was it Aliens Spin, whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Or was it Baymax's Happy Ride, which are all very similar types of attractions. If it's like that, then I can do it. If it's like, the Mad Tea Party or the Teacups, I may be on the outside watching, but either way, I'm glad more Tangled, please. Again, we already talked about how we need more Muppets. We also need Tangled is such an amazing film. We need more Tangled in the parks.
Now, as I mentioned, kind of describe this like comparing it to Main Street USA, kind of in that same fashion. They're going to have the Disney marching band going down that way, that adventure way, and that is going to be a band led by Minnie Mouse.
Nice.
And her 12 musicians, and they're going to be performing pop and modern renditions of songs from Disney films, Pixar, and Marvel songs. So. I just think that whole atmosphere is going to be very alive.
Very festive, very fun.
Yes.
A lot of vibes there. Well, we're all about vibes.
Right.
So it seems like there's going to be a lot of vibe to that area.
Exactly. So as we mentioned, they already have the Pixar world and they have the Avengers campus. But on March 29th, which is the day that the park changes its name, they will also introduce a new land, which is
the world of Arendelle, world of Frozen. Yes,
that's right. So, and that's going to be an amazing expansion there. Obviously, you're going to have Anna and Elsa and their castle. You're going to get to see a show with Viking longships, which I know you talked about recently. So what they say is at the heart of the village, beneath the clock tower, is going to be the Frozen Ever After attraction. And they said this is going to be a boat ride that will be an adventure alongside with Anna and Elsa and of course their friends Olaf, Sven, and Kristoff. And you're going to ride down the snowy forest to the Valley of the Trolls, through Elsa's dazzling ice castle, before ending with a spectacular finale in Arendelle Bay, lit by snowflake-shaped fireworks.
Nice. Yeah. Not much different than I think what you get in Epcot, but maybe slightly different, but very exciting either way. Just that land in general they've already shown some videos and some pictures and everything of the entire layout, and not maybe the entire layout, but a lot of it. And it looks like, yes, you've dropped right into Arendelle.
Yeah, very immersive.
That's my dream, right? Why aren't I already there? I need to get there. We need to figure it out soon.
Exactly. I do like that, obviously there's going to be food available. And this one quick service restaurant, it's called Nordic Crowns Tavern. It sounds so fun to me. So this is what they say. They're going to offer customizable dining experience inspired by Nordic cuisine. And so they'll have dishes that you can compose however you like. And we've seen this kind of over at Disney California Adventure Park over at San Francisco.
Yeah.
But anyways, here it says in total 16 combinations will be available. So you'll have a base consisting of either mashed potatoes or quinoa, a protein like salmon or Nordic meatballs, and then seasoned vegetables like carrots, peas, or one of two sauces, a tangy cranberry or creamy dill.
Nice.
And they'll also obviously have some great desserts, frosty treats, would make sense, like blue sorbet. Of course, blue. But they'll also have some Nordic pastries, and we love our Nordic pastries.
We do. Yeah. They have that over, like you mentioned, at San Francisco, over at the Disney California Adventure Park. Also, Satuli Canteen is very similar to that as well, over in Pandora, at Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. So yeah, I love that, because sometimes you feel a certain way. I mean, maybe you want certain combinations, maybe it's something you love, maybe you want to try different things together. And either way, I'm glad you're going to have that opportunity. And one more reason we need to get there.
Exactly. And I can't leave this area without at least mentioning how they will have Olaf roaming around.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's nuts.
as we saw with that audio animatronic that actually can walk around through the park. That there was a lot that was released a couple months ago on that. You can watch the YouTube of This Is Imagineering or That Is Imagineering to see that as well.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know why you haven't, but it's going to leave you floored.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible, the next step of audio animatronic, that it could just be walking around, having conversations with you and look like movie realistic,
Yes.
like the movements, everything about it. Watching this animatronic during this little presentation they put on, it's incredible. Like, I mean, like, it's Olaf.
Right.
It's amazing. I'm very excited.
Yes. And Olaf will also be visiting Arendelle over in Hong Kong Disneyland as well. That one they say is time limited. I'm not sure what that means, but he will also be making appearances over there.
Nice.
But we can't also leave this without bringing up their nighttime spectacular, because it is something that's going to be very groundbreaking. It's going to be called Disney Cascade of Lights. It's going to be on that bay that's going to be there. They said the stories are going to be inspired by Disney animation Mulan, Hercules, Moana, Zootopia, Pixar's Up, and from the Marvel universe as well. And what's really exciting is, they've used drone shows over at Disneyland Paris before in we've seen some things that are amazing over there. This one, though, it's going to actually be even closer to the audience, and it's going to feature aquatic drones that are going to also be able to be, handle the waters and the higher winds and things like that, they said. So and they said the show is going to really give you a 360 sweeping view design, so wherever you're standing you're going to get a great view of the show. They said at the heart of the experience is an emotional score recorded at Abbey Road Studios by a 90-piece orchestra featuring an original theme called We Can Be Heroes. And I heard a snippet of that, and you can find that online, and it's actually a beautiful song.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, next level stuff. Again, Disneyland Paris coming with some next level stuff. We already talked about Olaf, but these new drones that are water drones. I can't wait to see what those are about. I don't understand it, but I'm excited for it, because the drone shows out there have already been phenomenal. So what's the next level? Apparently it's this.
Yeah.
It's very thrilling.
When you look at some of the concept art, it looks very much, and I may be wrong, but to me, it looks like kind of a blend of World of Color that you see over at Disney California Adventure Park, but then you enhance it with these drones.
Right.
And so I just think it's going to be such a stunning show.
And Disneyland Paris has had stunning shows over the last several years. And so they've kind of set the bar pretty high.
Right.
So to take that next step, but it sounds like it might.
Yeah.
It might. So very excited for it.
Yeah. So as you mentioned kind of early on, that park seemed like a half a day park. This sounds like it's going to be much more involved, not just because you get to see Arendelle, but they've already, like I said, made to the entrance at world premiere. They've made a lot of changes to make it very much Hollywood looking there. I think that was exciting changes that they've already put into place. But then this whole flow and having Adventure Way, having that big that grand show, nighttime show on the lake there is just going to make that park come alive.
Right. And it's interesting because I think if anybody in the past, before this date, and even to now, but before recent changes to that park had asked us, we would have told them, yeah, you can do it, but you should probably just focus on Disneyland Park over there. Right. Because that's really where it's all at. And yeah, there's some cool stuff over there, but it's just not enough to carry it that you want to take a whole day or use up a whole ticket price to go do it. With these additions, and then even farther on into the future when they bring the Lion King area into it and whatever else they might be coming up with, that park is going to be a must do for every Disney fan. That's at least what I think.
Yeah. I think too, with how they're redesigning some of this, it's going to resolve that issue that we've talked about. It was a clunky park. It didn't have a good flow to it. Like, to go from place to place, you just felt like you were a lot of weird edges and things like this. This sounds more, I would compare it a little bit maybe to World Showcase,
Mhm.
that it has, kind of around the water, different worlds. But you also have some experiences when you first enter as well. So, um,
Maybe a
I
little, a little. I'm not going to put it to this extent yet. But maybe a little Tokyo Disney Sea as well,
Mhm,
kind of
mhm.
like that. I mean,
Right,
again, I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to say it's definitively going to be like that level,
right,
because that may be the best park there is in Disney,
right.
just a single park. Um, at least from what everybody's told us, we have
Mhm,
not been yet.
mhm.
But I think there's going to be a little touch of that there.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, absolutely. So, yeah, and I just think it's, like I said, bringing a new flow to
Right.
it. So those are the major changes. Like I said, we weren't going to cover everything. Hong Kong Disneyland is still in the midst of their 20th anniversary. Tokyo Disney Sea is in their 25th anniversary. So there aren't a lot of necessary changes to attractions right now. They did some recent past. So this was our focus on some of the bigger things coming to the other parks.
Yeah, and there's more stuff ahead to Disneyland and Walt Disney World in the years to come,
Hmm.
but still some great things coming in 2026 to the
Yeah,
parks
some
for sure.
exciting things.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
very much so.
Definitely a reason to go to any of those parks in 2026.
100%, 100%. Now we also have reasons to get you to the movies in
Yes.
2026 with the Walt Disney Company. And 2025 was a pretty successful year. As a matter of fact, they've done the best at the box office in 2025 of any of the studios out there. 2026 is building up to possibly be an even bigger year for the Walt Disney Company, because there's a huge slate of movies, and many of them that you're going to want to see, probably, if you're like us anyway,
Hmm.
in 2026. So I'm going to run down the list here, not of every film. There's a lot of films, but some of the majors here coming in 2026. Like on March 6th, Disney Pixar's Hoppers is coming to theater, which looks absolutely adorable, fantastic, wonderful. We've seen clips of it. Of course, maybe you've seen some of the trailers as well.
Right.
It looks phenomenal. Don't know if it's going to hold, the box office as much as some of the sequels and characters and love have done, but it looks like it's going to be a great, very cute movie that I'm very excited to see. I don't know about you, Michelle.
Yeah, I think it has the character looking appeal for younger kids, but the storyline that, I mean, like they said, they're not really taking ideas from Avatar,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they kind of are.
Not Avatar. It's Avatar, sort of. But so what the storyline is basically is that scientists have discovered how to, quote unquote, hop human consciousness into lifelike robotic animals, allowing people to communicate with the animals as animals. The adventure introduces Mabel, an animal lover who seizes an opportunity to use the technology, uncovering mysteries within the animal world that are beyond anything she could have imagined. So, yeah, it looks cute.
It
Very
does.
excited for that movie.
Yeah.
Moving on to May 1st, we start hitting our summer movie slate with a huge one that people are very, very excited about, one that I'm very excited about. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is hitting theaters on May 1st,
Crazy.
nearly 20 years after the original film. Miranda, Andy, Emily, and Nigel are coming back. Of course, Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci, returning to the fashionable streets of New York City and the offices of Runway magazine in the eagerly awaited sequel. That basically the original movie just, it formed a generation.
Right.
So many great lines. It was such a great movie. Excited for Devil Wears Prada too.
Yeah, I know. And the fact that they're bringing those iconic characters together is super fun.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. Also can't wait for the first full-length Star Wars film since 2019. Hard to believe.
Wow.
Yeah. On May 22nd, as Michelle already sort of mentioned, The Mandalorian and Grogu will hit theaters. Apparently, from what they say, this is the evil empire has fallen and Imperial warlords remain scattered throughout the galaxy. And as the fledgling New Republic works to protect everything the rebellion fought for, they've enlisted the help of legendary Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin and his young apprentice Grogu. Again, seen scenes from this along with the teaser trailer, but we've seen some more extended scenes. looks like it's going to be action-packed and fun, and we love those characters as
Yeah.
well.
And speaking of that, for the attraction, they are taking actual scenes from the film. So it will be very much, I don't want to say just lifelike, but you'll be able to really appreciate what you see in the theater on the attraction.
Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting for both the attraction and definitely the movie.
Yeah.
Definitely getting to see a Star Wars movie in the theaters again. Moving on June 19th, Toy Story 5 coming from Disney and Pixar. Yes, it's toys versus tech is our favorite playtime gang return, and fans are introduced to LilyPad, a high-tech frog-shaped smart tablet voice that makes Buzz and Woody, Jesse, and the rest of the crew's life's a little bit harder trying to get their attention back. So this will be interesting to see how that story plays out. How do they get Woody back into the gang? We know when we left him at Toy Story 4, he'd kind of gone off to do his own thing.
Right.
How's this going to come and happen?
Yeah.
But, excited. I'm sure this movie is going to make a lot of money.
I know. I was trying to figure out in the timeline, is it really more like 3.5 or is it
4.5?
4.
Or are you just going to forget that 4 happened?
Well, yeah. I'm just like,
some people
right.
want to forget that 4 happened. I'm not one of those, but I know there are people out there that want to forget 4 happened.
Yeah, but like you said, how are they incorporating Woody is
Right.
going to be interesting.
Yeah,
to
I'm excited. Again, we've seen small pieces of that as well. Destination D23, thank you. Member Cruise, DVC Member Cruise, thank you. We were able to see some bits of some of these films,
and actually
including some of that. Looks great.
It's really good.
Yep, looks great. Excited for that. Moving on to a live action remake on July 10th, Moana will be hitting theaters. It's this reimagined version of the smash animated hit, which brings back Dwayne Johnson as the infamous demigod Maui, and introduces us to, boy, I'm going to mess this up, Catherine Lagaia as Moana. So that's our new Moana, the live action Moana for this. You know the story, Ocean's Call, first time voyages beyond the reef, Motunui, restore prosperity. You know it. Still, probably will do really well at the box office for sure.
Yeah, I would expect it. And I think we've been pleased with like how Lilo and Stitch live action came out and how that looked and felt. And so I'm anxious to see this one too.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure we'll be going to see that in the theaters or maybe on a Disney cruise. Who knows?
Yes.
At some point we'll be seeing that. This isn't officially a Walt Disney Studios movie, but it is a Marvel Studios combo with Sony Pictures. On July 31st, Spider-Man, Brand New Day is in theaters. The new next Spider-Man movie. That's right. Apparently, Peter Parker is going to try to focus on college and leave Spider-Man behind, but things happen. When a new threat endangers his friends, he must break his promise and suit up again, teaming up with an unexpected ally to protect those he loves. Yeah.
No, it sounds amazing.
All the Spider-Man movies are great. I love every single one of them. I'm excited for this one as well. So that's really cool.
They have good side characters in Spider-Man for sure.
Yep. As you know, also Disney always releases a new animated feature for Thanksgiving time, and this year will be no different as well. On November 25th, Hexed will hit theaters. This new original animated movie tells the story of an awkward teenage boy and his type A mom, and they discover what makes him unusual might just be magical powers that will turn their lives and a secret world of magic upside down. Really cool.
It does sound cool. Yes.
Don't know much about this movie other than that.
Right.
We've seen some concept artwork sort of it, but we do not really know a lot about this movie, but I expect that we'll get to know a lot more about it in the next several months, and especially as we reach D23, the D23 Expo, something we have not brought up yet that's coming also in 2026. We're very excited for as well. Finally, the biggest movie of the year that is, no matter what, is going to crush at the box office. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter, even if it's not great, it's going to crush at the box office. On December 18th, Avengers Doomsday is coming to theaters. This next installment of the MCU will feature many faces from the past coming together to go toe-to-toe with the evil Doctor Doom. The all-star cast includes, you've seen the chairs. Here's the list that we know of so far. Chris Hemsworth, Vanessa Kirby, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Letitia Wright, Paul Rudd, Wyatt Russell, Tenoch Huerta Meja, Ebon Moss Bacharach, Simu Liu, Florence Pugh, Kelsey Grammer, Louis Pullman, Danny Ramirez, Joseph Quinn, David Harbour, Winston Duke, Hannah John Kamen, Tom Hiddleston. Sorry, I'm getting through my names too much. Tom Hiddleston. Patrick, I knew as soon as I said it, that was wrong. Because that's Loki. I love
Right.
Loki. Tom Hiddleston, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Romaine, James Marsden, Channing Tatum, Pedro Pascal, and Robert Downey Jr. And it was also just confirmed with the first teaser trailer that Chris Evans will be returning as Steve Rogers. And I'm sure there are more. I don't know how they're going to fit this movie into even 3.5 hours. How are they going to fit everybody in? I don't know, but it's amazing. And I can't be more excited for it, man. I saw that teaser trailer with Chris Evans, saw the teaser trailer with Chris Hemsworth as Thor. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I can't be more excited for this film, and I'm sure many Marvel fans are as well.
Yeah, I think your list of who isn't in it would have been a lot quicker to go through. But yeah, I mean, like you said, all these characters we've seen from the multiple Avengers are coming together. I don't know if there's going to be more like cameo kind of appearances or what, but one of the common threads that we seem to be seeing in the trailers and from the end, well, I don't want to give the ending of Fantastic Four, but one of the things,
kids are involved.
Kids are
we'll
involved.
just say that kids are involved.
Yeah, offsprings.
That's what it seems like.
Yes.
That there's kids involved for some way, shape, or form. We don't have any real synopsis. We don't have even more than just these little teasers.
Yes.
Yet, well, what's going on in this movie? But it seems like from what they're trying to get at from the teasers so far that there are kids involved.
Right. Exactly. So it sounds like it's going to be one that's going to be tug at your heart kind of thing.
Yeah. Between the Steve Rogers and the Thor teaser trailer, it's already tugged at my heart.
Right.
Like I don't need, well, of course I need more, but I mean, it's already gotten me emotionally involved.
Right. Yeah,
movie.
Exactly.
So, cannot wait. So yeah. And again, another thing we will find out a lot more about in the coming months and at D23 Expo, which is, also coming in August of this year. Tickets are expected. They haven't announced when tickets are going on sale yet, but probably sometime this spring is when they'll be going on sale. We have plans to try and make it out there. First of all, we need to secure tickets, and we need to figure out travel plans and everything else. We already have a hotel booked for that time period, so we're expecting to go, but we do not know the details yet. But that'll be also huge, enormous, amazing as well. So that's a huge thing for Disney in 2026.
Right. Their plans are, they've already announced their plans are to kind of replicate the one that they had in 2024, which is much grander than what they've had in the past. Still having it, during the day based at the convention center, but then the Anaheim Convention Center, but then have in the evening, the major announcements and shows and everything over at the Honda Center.
Right. Exactly. Just like they did before. You'll get a secured ticket over there. You'll have a seat. So if you purchase those, you won't have to worry about lining up to get your spot in there like you will have to, or trying to get a pre-book time for some of these other panels as well. But what I love about that, and not having done it yet, but I love the fact, because it used to be that would take up a portion of our day if we wanted to get to a big panel, and we'd be waiting to try and get into that big panel.
Yes.
And so we might have missed some other panels that we might have liked to see. Now you're going to be freed up during the day, like you were in 2024. In 2026, you'll be freed up during the day to see some of these other panels, or to enjoy the floor itself.
Right.
And then go and hit up the huge panels at night, and know you'll have that reserved seat if that's what you desire. You can also just go and do the floor. You can you can kind of do as much. You can do one day, you can do all the days, all of it, depending on what you prefer.
Right. I mean, and how they set up purchasing of the tickets, because I think last time you could purchase just to go to the Honda Center.
That might have been the case. It might have been. I thought you got both when you did it.
Well, if you went to the convention, you got both, but I thought there was a way that you could.
I don't think so. I think if you purchased, there was an opportunity to just go to the floor and not do the Honda Center.
Oh.
But I think that if you did the Honda Center, you also got entrance into D23 proper. I think, but I could be wrong too. You may remember.
Let's edit this out.
Nope. Sorry, it's in.
Darn it.
That's what we get for not going in 2024, which I
Yes.
was kicking myself for weeks, months, definitely during the time period when it was happening. And I was like, why aren't we there? We're not going to miss this year if we have the possibility. Now, tickets could sell out.
Right.
We may not
we
get
might
there.
not get there.
That could happen for us too. But if we can get tickets, our plan is to go and not miss again, because I can't deal with the FOMO again.
Right. I know. I remember last time when the tickets went on sale, we weren't all that. We're like, yeah, I don't think we need to do it this time, and we'll do Destination D23 again. We had just done Destination D23 and thought that was going to be fun.
Plus, we had been in California earlier than the year.
Right.
Which we will be again this year.
I know.
As well. But after the FOMO of last time, we'll make that extra trip.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's all the stuff a lot of the stuff anyway, from 2026. What is your favorite? What are you most excited about coming to Disney in 2026? What did we miss? I'm sure there's a ton of stuff.
We definitely left out things. Mine, I left out some deliberately just for time purposes.
Absolutely. Even though we've gone long as we usually do, but that's okay, because that was a magical look at what's to come for Disney in 2026.